23 minutes and 41 seconds. That is how long senior White House advisor Michael Torres kept his iPhone recording in his jacket pocket during a classified Situation Room meeting after Kash Patel entered at 2:47 p.m., visibly intoxicated, slurring words, and behaving so erratically that 3 other staff members made eye contact, asking silent questions nobody wanted to answer out loud. Watch what happens when Patel stumbles through the door 17 minutes late to a national security briefing about North Korean missile tests. Watch staff members' faces when he tries to contribute to the discussion, and his sentences don't make sense. Watch the moment Torres realizes someone needs documentation of what is happening and makes the decision to record despite knowing it violates Situation Room protocols. And watch 23 minutes and 41 seconds of audio that would be leaked to 3 major news organizations within 48 hours, authenticated by forensic analysis, and become the final piece of evidence that destroyed Patel's security clearance permanently. You need to see this from the beginning, because what happened in that Situation Room is not just about one recording. It is about what happens when institutional loyalty breaks down, because protecting one person means endangering everyone else. Let me set the scene for you. White House Situation Room, Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. Emergency briefing on North Korean ballistic missile test detected 18 hours earlier by Pacific Command surveillance. National Security Advisor Patricia Chen presiding. 8 senior staff members present, including Michael Torres, Deputy National Security Advisor for Asian Affairs. The briefing was scheduled for 2:30 sharp. All attendees were seated by 2:28. Except Patel, who was invited because of his previous Pentagon role despite no longer holding an official position. At 2:30, Chen began the briefing without him. Satellite surveillance detected a launch at 0600 hours local time from a facility near Pyongyang. Initial trajectory analysis suggests a medium-range missile capable of reaching Guam. We're here to discuss response options. At 2:47 p.m., the Situation Room door opened. Patel entered. Every head turned. Torres, seated 3 chairs down from the door, would later tell investigators that his first thought was, "He looks drunk," and his second thought was, "Everyone else sees it too." Patel was wearing a suit, but the tie was loose, the shirt was wrinkled, and when he spoke, his words ran together. "Sorry I'm late. Traffic was terrible. What did I miss?" Chen paused mid-sentence. "Mr. Patel, please take your seat. We're discussing the North Korean launch." Patel moved toward the empty chair. He misjudged the distance, and his hip hit the table corner. He didn't seem to notice. He sat down heavily and immediately pulled out his phone. North Korea again, always causing problems. Chen resumed the briefing. The missile traveled approximately 1,200 kilometers before splashing down in the Sea of Japan. Intelligence suggests this is a test of a new solid-fuel propulsion system. Patel interrupted. "That's not what my sources say." Chen stopped. "Your sources?" "My sources say it's liquid fuel, old technology, nothing to worry about." "Mr. Patel, Pacific Command has photographic evidence of solid fuel characteristics." "Your evidence is wrong." Chen's jaw tightened. "We'll note your disagreement for the record. Moving on?" "We shouldn't move on. If everyone is working from bad intel, we're making bad decisions." Torres pulled his phone from his jacket. Under the table, he opened the voice memo app. He glanced around. Nobody was watching him. Everyone was watching Patel. Torres hit record and slipped the phone back in his jacket pocket, microphone exposed. The timestamp showed 2:49 p.m. If you have made it this far and this matters to you, subscribe now and hit the bell, because what comes next is 23 minutes of Patel making increasingly incoherent contributions while Torres captures every word. Chen tried to continue. "Our intelligence assessment is that this missile system represents a significant advancement in North Korea's capabilities. The solid fuel system allows for faster launch preparation, which reduces warning time." Patel interrupted again. "How do we know it's solid fuel? Did someone taste it?" Silence. Torres's phone was recording. One of the other advisors, Sarah Mitchell, looked at Torres with an expression that clearly said, "Is he serious?" Torres gave a tiny shake of his head. Chen's voice was careful. "Mr. Patel, the determination is based on burn patterns visible in satellite imagery, not chemical analysis of the fuel itself." But you don't actually know. We have high confidence based on technical analysis. High confidence isn't certainty. In intelligence work, it rarely is, but the evidence strongly supports evidence can be manipulated. I learned that at DOD. Chen took a breath. "Mr. Patel, do you have specific information that contradicts this assessment?" "I have common sense. Solid fuel is expensive. North Korea is poor. Therefore, they're probably using liquid fuel." Another advisor, James Walsh, spoke carefully. "Mr. Patel, their missile program has received significant Chinese technical assistance. Cost is less of a constraint than it was previously." Patel waved his hand dismissively. The gesture was too wide, uncontrolled. Chinese assistance. Everyone blames China. Maybe North Korea figured it out themselves. Their scientists have published papers on solid fuel chemistry. Papers can be faked. Chen closed her folder. "Mr. Patel, we're going to continue with the assessment as presented. If you have contradictory intelligence from your sources, please provide it in writing after this meeting." "I don't need to provide anything in writing. I'm telling you now, and I'm telling you that this briefing will proceed based on verified intelligence, not speculation." Patel stood up. The movement was sudden enough that two people flinched. "This is why we keep getting surprised. Nobody listens to dissenting views. Mr. Patel, please sit down. I'll sit down when you start taking this seriously." Chen's voice hardened. "I take this very seriously, which is why I need you to sit down and stop disrupting." Patel sat, but he was muttering. Loud enough for Torres's phone to capture, but quiet enough that it wasn't clear if Patel knew he was speaking audibly. Nobody listens. Same mistakes. Over and over. Drop a comment right now if you think Chen should have stopped the meeting because what happens in the next 10 minutes proves she should have. Chen resumed. Response options. Option 1, diplomatic protest through the UN Security Council. Option 2, enhanced surveillance and intelligence gathering. Option 3, military exercises with South Korea to demonstrate readiness. We need to assess which combination. Patel interrupted. Option 4, ignore it. It's just a missile test. They do these all the time. We can't ignore a missile that can reach U.S. territory. Guam isn't real America. The room went completely silent. Torres's phone was still recording. Mitchell leaned toward Torres and whispered, "Did he just say Guam isn't real America?" Torres nodded slightly. His phone captured the whisper. Chen's voice was dangerously quiet. "Mr. Patel, Guam is a U.S. territory with 170,000 American citizens and a major military installation. It is absolutely real America." "You know what I mean. It's not the mainland." That distinction is irrelevant when discussing missile threats. It's relevant to response priorities. No, Mr. Patel, it isn't. Every American citizen is a priority. Patel's phone buzzed on the table. He picked it up and looked at it. In the Situation Room, during a classified briefing, Walsh spoke. "Mr. Patel, phones should be silenced during classified discussions." Patel looked up. "It's silenced." "It just buzzed." "Vibrate isn't the same as sound." "It's still a distraction." Patel set the phone down. "Fine. Sorry. Continue." Chen was visibly frustrated now. "As I was saying, we need to determine appropriate responses. The President will need recommendations by 1800 hours. Patel raised his hand like a student. "Question." "Yes, Mr. Patel?" "Why do we care what North Korea does? They're a tiny country. We could destroy them in a day." "Because any military action would result in massive casualties in South Korea and potentially trigger Chinese intervention." Chinese intervention. Everything comes back to China. Because China is North Korea's primary ally and defense guarantor. Maybe we should just talk to China then. We are talking to China Through diplomatic channels. Have we tried just asking them nicely to make North Korea stop? Torres looked at Mitchell. Mitchell looked at Walsh. All three were thinking the same thing. This is worse than we thought. Chen's patience was exhausted. Mr. Patel, these are complex geopolitical issues that require nuanced responses. Suggesting we ask nicely is not a serious policy recommendation. I'm being very serious. Then I suggest you think more carefully before speaking. Patel's face flushed red. Are you saying I'm not thinking carefully? I'm saying your contributions today have not been helpful because you disagree with me. Because you're not engaging with the actual intelligence or policy options. You're making assertions without evidence and suggestions without analysis. I have plenty of analysis. Then share it. Right now, tell me specifically why you think this assessment is wrong. Patel stared at her. His mouth opened. No words came out. 10 seconds of silence. That's what I thought, Chen said quietly. Subscribe now, because what happens in the final 5 minutes is Patel losing control completely and Torres keeping his phone recording through all of it. Patel stood again. I don't have to sit here and be insulted. You're not being insulted. You're being challenged to defend your positions. Same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. Patel moved toward the door. He was unsteady. One hand reached for the wall to balance himself. Where are you going? Chen asked. I'm leaving. This meeting is a waste of time. We're discussing a missile threat. How is that a waste of time? Because nobody's listening to me. We're not listening because you're not making sense. Patel turned at the door. I'm not making sense? You're the ones who think North Korea is a real threat. They're a joke country with joke missiles. They're a nuclear-armed state with missiles that can reach U.S. territory. Only because we let them become one. Mr. Patel, your understanding of history and current threats is severely compromised by... Chen stopped herself, but everyone knew what she was about to say. Patel knew too. Compromised by what? Say it. By your condition. What condition? Mr. Patel, you arrived late. You're slurring your words, you're making nonsensical arguments, and you can barely stand up straight. Your condition is obvious to everyone in this room. I don't have a condition. I'm fine. You're not fine, and I'm asking you to leave. I'm not leaving until... Security. Chen pressed a button on the table. Within 30 seconds, 2 Secret Service agents entered. Please escort Mr. Patel out of the Situation Room. One agent approached Patel. Sir, come with us, please. Patel pulled away. Don't touch me. Sir, this isn't optional. The agent took Patel's arm firmly. Patel tried to jerk free but lost his balance and stumbled. The second agent steadied him. Together, they walked Patel out. He was still talking as the door closed. This is political. You'll regret this. I know people. The door closed. Torres's phone recorded until 3:12 p.m. when he ended the recording. 23 minutes and 41 seconds of audio. Chen looked around the room. What just happened stays in this room. Nobody discusses it outside these walls. Is that understood? Everyone nodded. But Torres had already made a different decision. That evening, Torres listened to the recording 3 times. He made copies, one on his laptop, one uploaded to secure cloud storage, one on a USB drive he put in his home safe. At 11 p.m., he received a text from Mitchell. Did you record that? Torres called her. Yes. Thank God, someone needed to. What do I do with it? That's your decision, but if Patel goes on TV tomorrow claiming he was unfairly treated, that recording proves otherwise. Thursday morning, Patel appeared on a podcast claiming he was pushed out of a meeting for asking tough questions. The host didn't push back. Patel presented himself as a victim of groupthink. By Thursday afternoon, 3 news organizations had received anonymous emails containing the recording. By Thursday evening, audio forensic experts had verified it was authentic and unedited. By Friday morning, portions of the recording were playing on every network. Patel's slurred speech, his "Guam isn't real America" comment, his inability to defend his positions, his unstable exit. By Friday afternoon, the White House announced Patel's access to all classified briefings was permanently revoked. By Saturday, DOJ opened an investigation into who leaked the recording. Torres was questioned, but never charged. The recording was deemed newsworthy and in the public interest given Patel's public claims of victimhood. Patel never appeared at another classified briefing. His security clearance was formally revoked within 2 weeks. And the 23-minute recording became permanent evidence that his drinking had progressed from problematic to completely disqualifying. Torres never publicly admitted he made the recording, but 3 other staff members from that meeting later told investigators they were glad someone had documented it, because without that recording, it would have been Patel's word against theirs. And Patel was very good at lying, but audio doesn't lie, and 23 minutes and 41 seconds of slurred, incoherent rambling couldn't be explained away. Subscribe now. Share everywhere. Because when White House staff secretly record you drunk in the Situation Room and leak it to destroy your credibility, that's not betrayal. That's accountability. Torres hit record. Patel destroyed himself, and the tape proved it.